I do, Molly?
We have gathered here today for me to embarrass myself on the internet.
Oh.
For your enjoyment.
I have no idea what you're going to say.
I know you don't, but I'm sure you'll remember the story when I start.
Okay.
This is take 2. I attempted to do this yesterday, but I got interrupted by a personal matter that took all of my time and energy over the last 24 hours. It's been very stressful, and if you too have had a stressful 24 hours, let this be your escape. I'm here to be your escape. I'm literally just chilling on my bed in my pajamas, like comfy, cozy. I did put a bra on, which is shocking. I basically never wear a bra ever. So it's a pretty big deal that I put a bra on for you, and it's mostly because this shirt would have been see-through, and I don't need to expose that on the internet whilst also exposing my embarrassment. Some things have to stay private between me and God. Do you know what I'm saying? And by me and God, I mean basically everybody else who's around when I don't have a bra on. I'm with these pajamas. So, hello! You know, here's the thing. Millions, quite literally millions of people across platforms have at this point in my life heard me talk about my period. So I don't feel like we have like that much privacy, you know? Like I've exposed so much already. Like, why not go a step further and expose this? This is my most embarrassing moment to date. Other than this situation that I had with Cody Simpson haunts me to this day. And this is the only other moment in my life that I can think of that haunts me in the same capacity. And I just need to get it off my chest, all right? Now, I am the type of girl who talks about it all. In my real life, you guys know I tell you, like in my real life, I swear all the time. Admittedly got a little bit of a potty mouth, and I'm not ashamed, but I don't bring it to the internet. I'm like the type of person, like I'm very comfortable talking about sex with people, like I'm just like a real comfy person, okay? I've got no filter, I've got no barrier. I actually have to like try to attempt to have a filter on the internet, because I'm like, Molly, there's a lot of people out there, you should have some kind of filter. But I'm just like a very comfortable person, and I think the best example of that is the fact that I told this story 100% sober on a second date with somebody I really liked. So, just to give you an idea. I'm really an open book. My editor, Robin, has already heard this story. I told it at her birthday party. She heard it. So I feel like it's just time that I let all of you in on this moment as well. And I would like to start this out by reminding everybody that everybody poops, okay? Everybody poops. I am not immune. I too poop. And I'm an IBS girly, all right? Thanks, Steve. Appreciate that, Jean. Uh-huh. She's yawning already. We're off to a good start.
I just want time to hear the story.
So, I am a girl who is more likely to have diarrhea than to be constipated.
Ooh, thanks for sharing that.
It matters, Neve. We're getting to the story. So, we all know, I assume, if you watch this channel, you know, I'm a public speaker. Before I ever started on social media, I toured full-time as a motivational speaker. I've been public speaking since I was 5, yada, yada, yada. I did this video recently documenting my first live speaking event back post-lockdown. We get it. I'm a speaker. So, early on in my career, after I'd left the company that I toured with full-time for almost 2 years, I started my own speaking business, launched my speaking website, started a speaking business, and was taking bookings privately, which is definitely personally what I recommend. Unless you have like a really, really, really tight, close personal relationship with your speakers bureau, just do it yourself. It's way better, way easier. So I was doing all the bookings like on my own. My mom was helping coordinate them. And that's when she first started working with me. Pre-social media was just like she dealt with taking my speaking bookings, getting me to events and whatnot. All the logistics that go into making a speaking engagement happen. So at the time I was living in Oakville, which is my hometown just outside of Toronto, and this speaking engagement happened in Ottawa. Now, typically my clients would fly me. At this time, I was just starting out brand new in my own business, so I was really taking bookings even if they couldn't necessarily pay my full rate. I obviously wouldn't do it for nothing, but I had like my bottom line that I was willing to go to if they couldn't meet my rate. Sometimes that meant doing things like driving ourselves down instead of flying to save myself some money if the client couldn't pay that fee, whatever. These are the sacrifices you make when you're early on in being an entrepreneur and starting your business. Like, you know, you make sacrifices, and that was one of them. So anybody who lives in the GTA knows the drive to Ottawa, it's not impossible. I want to say it's like 4 to 5 hours. It's pretty easy. So my mother and I tucked in one winter frosty morning, and we drove our happy selves down to Ottawa to speak at a school. Now, I, at this point in my career, mainly speak at large conferences and to corporate audiences, but at the time I was doing mostly schools, middle schools, high schools, and universities. This was a middle school. So I drove down. How old would I have been? Probably 21, 2021, probably 21. Because it was the winter and I'm a February baby, so I was probably 21. And I was 20 when I started my business. Yeah, so I was 21, let's say. And so 8 years ago. And it still freaking haunts me. Still haunts me. So, by the way, this is an oat milk honey lavender latte. It's a lot going on. So we drive down, all is well, and my speaking event is in the afternoon. So it gave us time to like drive down, grab lunch, go to sound check and speak. So we grab lunch. We don't know anywhere to get lunch. So we just grab lunch somewhere nearby the school, and it was like a falafel kind of place. They made like Middle Eastern wraps. Oh, so good. I love a lot of different Middle Eastern foods, but I especially love Armenian food. Delish. Lebanese food. Phenomenal. So it was like that kind of stuff. And I ate it. Very, very pleased with my decision. Until I wasn't. Okay, so we then drive over to the school, park, get out, we meet our point person who brings us in, have like a little, green room area, which is essentially just like a teacher's office or like an empty classroom. And I do my sound check in the gym. I was speaking to, I say 500 kids, something like that. Pretty standard audience for a school. And I was speaking to grades 6, 7, and 8s. Between the sound check and my speech, I feel a rumbling. The tummy is a rumbling. Something isn't sitting so well. All right? Arguably one of the worst things that can happen when you're about to speak for an hour on stage. I am up there for an hour. Okay, I was doing a 45-minute keynote and a 15-minute Q&A. That is like my typical standard. I'm like, I'm gonna have explosives right now. So my mom finds me a bathroom, and thankfully it is lunchtime for the kids. So they're all outside. And I was like, perfect. Got the bathroom to myself. I can let it rip. I, of course, go to the accessible stall, the large bathroom stall, with my giant guide dog, Gallopper Gooseman. By the way, he's not dead. Can we just address that? I get an alarming amount of people like asking me if Gallop's dead because apparently the internet says he's dead. Don't believe everything you read, kids. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, gays, theys, bays, don't believe everything you see on the internet. Gallop is alive and well. And it's insulting that people think are spreading these rumors that he is dead. He will be 11 on May 2nd, and he is super healthy. He might be going slightly blind, which I think is kind of poetic, But he's great. No issues, so we're all fine. But yeah, I had Gallopper Gooseman with me at the time, my guide dog at the time. And we go in, and I'm doing my business. And everything exits my body. We have a mass exodus, okay? The valves are clear. Which I was like, great. I feel like I've got it all sorted so that when I go on stage for an hour, I'm not gonna have to worry about more rumblings, And there's two types of people in the world, okay? There's the people who wipe whilst still sitting, and there's the people who stand to wipe. I'm a stander, okay? I stood to wipe. I turned to toss it on into the toilet and reach over to flush. I have not pulled my pants up yet because look, it was a messy job. I just want to deal with that before I pull my pants up. This needs to get out of my hand and flushed before I'm pulling the pants up. So I throw it in to the toilet. And whilst I was finishing up, I had done the deed, but I was now wiping. And when it's loose, there's more wiping required than at other times. So it took a while to make sure I was squeaky clean. And during that time, a group of girls, a horde of grade 7s, wandered in. And I was like, wow, thank God the loud part's over. Because, the wiping and the flushing is nobody has to know what went down before they walked in. You would think. Well, they're all like, oh my God, is that a dog? Do you remember this, Neve? Is this coming back to you?
Yes.
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 Yes. It's so horrible. It's all coming back to me. It's all coming back to me. I wish it wouldn't. I have such a good trauma brain. Like, my brain really is one of those that, disassociates during really, really, really traumatic things. So, there's portions of my life where it's, erased. My brain has just been we compartmentalized, we put that stuff in a box, and we actually threw that box out. We threw the box out of the brain. I'm just fine with that. There's memories that I don't need. There's times my mom tells me stories, and she's like, you don't remember that? It was horrific. And I'm like, no. Thank God for that. I would not want to have remembered that because just hearing the stories back, I get irate. So I'm like, I see why my brain forgot this one. This one, for some reason, this story it's in there, clear as day. So anyways, these girls are like, what's the dog doing here? Oh my God, is that a dog? And for some reason in North America, we've decided that it's reasonable for our bathrooms to have like a huge gap at the bottom, a huge gap at the top, and why not let's throw a gap between the door and the wall too. So like there's so many angles that people can peer in to the bathroom. I don't know why we've done that. Like every single time I go into, especially as an IBS girly, every single time I go into a bathroom where like all of them are individual rooms, where it is floor to ceiling, wall to wall, no gaps, I'm like, this is premium. Even better than that is when they also have music playing. Bless those souls. The people who design those bathrooms, I've got to believe, have some kind of bowel situation themselves because they understand the privacy we need in public environments when we need to go, all right? Bless the people who play music and have full separate rooms within a bathroom. Glorious. This is obviously a public school. We can't expect these things. We can't expect big things like that. They still have one of those sinks, godforsaken sinks that's like a half circle and it's metal and there's like this thing that you step on and these little spritzers come out from everywhere, like a little sprinkler that we're supposed to wash our hands in. Oh God, I'm glad I'm not in school anymore. Anyways, so I had to share because I know in some European countries and places like that, they have smart bathrooms designed where you can't peer in to everybody's stall individually. So for those people's sake, you needed to understand the design. And of course, what did these girls do? As I have stood up and away from the toilet, my pants are down near my ankles, and I am tossing my soiled toilet paper into the very full bowl. They stand on the toilet next to my stall, and they look over right into my toilet. They were looking for the dog, but what did they see? They saw me, and they saw all my business, both physically and what had exited. And I felt my soul leave my body. Never in my life has a 13-year-old embarrassed me so much, and I was horribly bullied when I was 13. But this moment, it sticks with me. And they very quickly scurried. They realized their mistake in that moment as I looked up at them, as they gasped down at me. They realized their mistake. I can't answer the question as to why on earth they would have thought, oh, there's a dog in the stall, but no human. But that's evidently what they must have believed in that moment. In their excitement to see a dog in the bathroom, they must have believed nobody is next door. And now every single time I am going to the bathroom and I hear people recognize that there is a dog in my stall and get excited or talk about it or exclaim in any capacity, oh my God, there's a dog in there. I am like, don't stand on the toilet and look down. Don't do it. This runs through my mind every time. And I can tell you, the fear I feel deep in my soul every time I use one of those bathrooms, like at Starbucks, for example, where it is like a single stall, but it is not within a room. And they don't have one of those locks that swivels so you can then check that it's locked. They have one of the push locks so that every time you try to check if it's locked, you open it because you have to pull the handle to see if it's locked, but by pulling the handle, you pop the lock. The fear I feel in those moments every time that somebody is going to walk in on me, it's intense and overpowering. Every single time I make sure I'm with a friend and they check from the outside that it's locked, or that they come in with me to stand guard of the door internally. I make sure somebody is always on guard in those moments, or I'm holding it, God. I am holding it because I am not risking somebody walking in on me. And many times the accessible stalls have buttons, which is obviously very important for people who have mobility needs that need to be able to push the button. However, sometimes they have these fail-safe locks where it's you have to push a button inside to make sure that the outside button isn't going to open the door, because in case somebody inside had an emergency, it's a whole situation. But I can't see those buttons, so I don't always know that bathrooms have those buttons that need to be pushed. If you get it, you get it. If you've never experienced it, you don't. But oof, it's terrifying every time. So anyways, they scurried quick on out of there. But it was too late. They had seen everything they needed to. And all I could do is exit with zero dignity in hand and stand up in front of them and all of their classmates. And I am sure there was some whispering going on. And I had to try to stand up there and be like, let me tell you about my trauma. Not the one that just happened in your school bathroom, but about my trauma of going blind, being bullied and depressed, and all the hope that I can now instill on you based on the life lessons that I was taught through these journeys. I had to go do that with confidence, but no dignity, I assure you. And I was really pleased when I got back in my car and never looked back. When that was done, I've never felt more relief in my life after a speech. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, gays, theys, and bays, the most embarrassing moment, other than the Cody Simpson scenario, that I have ever experienced. And I hope that if you have an embarrassing poop story, this put it to rest for you and you feel okay. And please share yours in the comments if you feel so brave. This is a place where you can offload your poop trauma, get it off your chest, share it with those who will stand in solidarity with you because everybody poops, okay? It's fine. I've said my piece. I will never speak of this with you again, okay? We're done here. And until next time, you can click over here to hear that Cody Simpson story and continue to listen to me embarrass myself. Or over here for my most recent video, Organizing My Beauty Vanity, if you, like me, need to escape from this moment here. All right, goodbye.